We tend to be over-ambitious at times. Hello, and welcome to another episode of Preacher Man TV. I'm Pastor J. So, it's the new year. It's 2022. Yes, I know I've been mentioning that it's 2022 a lot. And I know that many of you made resolutions. I often wonder why people make resolutions. I guess it's because they want to make some changes in their lives. What we do is we try to make these changes so that it will have a drastic and a profound effect. So you do, outlandish things. You make some massive resolutions, some big changes that you would implement. And if you make those changes, then you would see a difference in your life. But most of the time, by 2 or 3 months, if so much, the resolution fails and we just drop it off and we go back to what we were before. We tend to be over ambitious at times. Many of you are on a fast right now and we have 21 days. I remember one gentleman telling me that he was going to go on a fast for 21 days with water alone. And that's quite admirable. If you could do water alone, I know quite a number of people who do that. But I've never tried it because I know I probably wouldn't be able to make that. I wouldn't be able to do that. But he was like, yeah, I'm going to do water alone because Pastor Jude could do it. I think I could do it. 3 days into the fast, I asked him, I said, so how's the fast going? He just looked at me and he said, Mommy made pork. Or Mommy made pork. I know we tend to be over-ambitious with these things at times. In order to prevent us setting these lofty goals and making these humongous changes and then failing at them and then feeling bad about it afterwards, I believe that our changes and our resolutions should come in small doses. Incremental changes will make a humongous difference. So I want to recommend 5 incremental changes, small things that you could do that I believe is going to have a profound effect. And the reason why I'm going to name these 5 things is because it's 5 things that I've done in my life that caused an improvement in the way I live and the way I feel. Let's get into it. Number 1, morning devotions. No, I'm not a morning person. I was never a morning person. I never liked getting up early. When I had my secular job, I used to get to work late almost every single day. When I became a pastor, or a little bit before that, I decided, you know what, this thing where I'm getting up late, it's just not cutting it. And I wanted to get closer to God. And I realized that I would wake late at night and then get up late the next morning. So I decided that I was just going to go to sleep a few minutes earlier and wake up earlier. Now I'm to the point where I get up at 5:30 every morning and pray and seek God's face and write and listen and meditate. I have enough time to do it. By the time 7:30, that's half an hour before the kids go to school, I'm up and I'm ready to go. So that's one small incremental change. You don't have to get up and pray for an hour and a half or an hour like some of us do. You could start with just 10 minutes. Go to bed 10 minutes earlier and get up 10 minutes earlier. That way you don't lose a single thing. It's a small change that will lead to massive results. As you go, you increase the time and you're going to see it will have a monumental effect. Trust me. So I recommend that you try that. Number 2, read a book. The Bible says, my people perish because of a lack of knowledge. And a lot of people don't know the way you get knowledge is by reading a book. This is not at the expense of reading the book, which is the Bible, but I recommend that you read a book. And not just any book, good books. Find out what the people that you admire or the people that are your mentors, find out what they are reading. And if your mentors don't read, find a new mentor, but find out what they are reading and try to read those as well. Why? Because that's how knowledge comes. You read a book, you gain knowledge. And I know some of you are not readers. I was never a reader. I never liked to read. My sister is a reader. She's probably read thousands and thousands of books. I've probably read hundreds of books. And that's because I started reading late. Now I love to read, but if you don't like reading, what I recommend that you do is listen to audiobooks. Now they're readily available, so you can get them. Somebody get Audible and you might be all right. This is what I do. I am doing 3-4 books at a time. My Bible is non-negotiable. I read at morning and evening. And then in the morning, when I go for my walk, like I did last week, I listen to a book, like I told you. And in the evening, I read a book. So I'm reading 2, sometimes 3 books at a time. And I glean so much from that. So I want to recommend that you read a book. Number 3, work harder than you worked before. You may be a hard worker now, but we could always work a little harder. When you work harder, I recommend that you play harder. In other words, the man who works hard, when he goes to enjoy his time off, he enjoys it more than the man who did nothing. Everybody likes a vacation, and there's some people it doesn't make a difference. They'll enjoy the vacation anyway. But you feel as if the time that you spend enjoying a vacation or relaxing is time that you've earned. And let me tell you, it's sweet when you do that. So I recommend that you implement that little thing, that number 3. Just work hard and play harder. So that one is one of my favorites. Number 4, identify a weakness and attack it. We all have weaknesses. I can tell you my weakness right now. My biggest weakness is procrastination. I like to put things off. Why? Because it's convenient to do so. I realized that a lot of things weren't getting done because I always had an excuse to put something off. So what I started doing is, if there's a thing to do, just get it done now. Get up and do it at that very moment. Don't put it off for an hour. Don't put it off for 2 hours. Don't put it off for tomorrow, definitely. Just get it done now. If you can't do it at a time, write it down, make a list of things to do, and get it done. Procrastination, they say, is the thief of time, but I believe it steals so much more. So identify a weakness in your life and attack it. A weakness in your life may be food. You begin to glean yourself off of food a little bit. You take yourself away from that, and before you know it, you'll be eating less and less and less and feeling better. Some people have convinced themselves that unless I eat enough, then I would never feel good. And that may be so if you eat a lot. When you begin to wean yourself off food, you won't feel that great initially. But trust me, after a while, when you begin to get lighter, it's going to be easier on your joints, it's going to be easier on your body. Man, it's a small change, a small thing to give up to feel so great. I could tell you that firsthand because I've experienced that in my own life. I kind of wean myself off food a little bit, so I don't eat as much as I used to. I've lost some weight. I don't go to the gym like I used to. I just run in the morning or walk in the morning, and I feel great. I think I want to go back to the gym a little bit, so I wouldn't lose the form, you know what I mean? But still, at the end of the day, it's a small change that will have monumental effects. Number 5, try something new. You won't believe what that will do for your confidence. Not everything you try, you'll be good at, but who knows, you might stumble upon something that you might like. I love fishing, but it's not new. I've been fishing since I was, probably 8 or 9 years old. My grandfather taught me to fish. Those of you who watch Preacher Man, you know that. I came to America, planted a church. The church back in Trinidad, the guys over there, they never allowed me to do a single thing. If I pick up a tool, put it down. No, Pastor J. We'll handle that. So I never got a chance to do something. And when I was home, I never built anything. But when I came over here and we started the church, I realized that, hey, I had to start doing so many things on my own because there was nobody there to help me. So I got out there and started doing things. Before you know it, I realized that I like using some of the tools. I like using the power tools. I like using the saw, the chop saw, all that stuff. So I decided to build something. Hence, the fireplace behind there, or the accent wall over there, or the porch swing that I showed you recently. And this year I'm going to do some more. So I realized that, hey, that's something I like doing. I could have designed all these things. So now I think if I could design them, I could build them. And I think there's some things that I could design that the world hasn't seen yet that I could build. Who knows? I just inadvertently, or it might look fortuitous that I stumble into these things, but it's something that I enjoy. And it gives me so much confidence to do things. One gentleman was telling me that he was talking to a family member of mine, and the family member was saying, he can't believe that Pastor J could use power tools or use tools. I can't imagine him with that. That's because I never did it before. And one of the first main things that I ever built is the fireplace behind me. And when I was done, even now when I look at it, I still can't believe that I built it. So try something new, learn a new skill, go somewhere new. I thank God that I married the woman that I married. Why? Because I would have been stuck in the same thing over and over and over again. But she is a person who likes to try new foods. She likes to go to new places. She doesn't like to do the same thing all the time. It just doesn't agree with her. So she compels me to try new things. There's a time that she loves sushi, and just the thought about sushi, it just didn't seem like a good idea to me. So I never really got into it until she expresses that she loves sushi and she wanted to go to this sushi place and that sushi place. Then they opened up one not far from our house in Trinidad, a place that I can't remember the name of it. I think they call it Morvino or something like that. So they opened up that sushi place and we went there and I tasted it. Man, I loved it. Up to this day, that's something that she and we enjoy together. So now when she wants to try something new, I'm like, let's do it. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad. It's not always good when you try something new. Just recently, we tried a new restaurant and there was a drink there that she never had before that she wanted to try. She tried it and it was horrid. I mean, bad. And that was one of the times it failed, but that wouldn't stop her from trying new things. So I want to recommend that you do that. It doesn't have to be something great. It just might be a thing that you never had before. You probably never had steak before. Who knows, you might like it. Try it. One friend of mine, he just eats chicken and chicken and chicken. If he sees this, he'll know who I'm talking about. But guess what? You'll never know what a steak tastes like unless you tried it. And if you don't open your mind up when you try something new, you just can't just try it. You have to have an open mind. Who knows, you might like it. It might become one of your favorite foods. I would have never learned that because I loved chicken. That was the only thing I used to eat. But then one day I tried steak. Didn't like it. But then I decided to try it again. Man, it was glorious. And roast duck in plum sauce. If I hadn't tried that, I wouldn't know that's my favorite food ever. So try something new. And I think the food thing, because I'm fasting right now, I could go on and on and on, but we're gonna stop right there. So guys, these 5 simple things, if you try them, who knows, it's gonna have a monumental effect on your life. It might have great changes and you don't know what those changes could lead to. You never know. It might just be the right little thing that you needed to kickstart you or to jumpstart you into something powerful. Just to recap it, start your morning devotions. It just takes a few minutes, 10 minutes. 10 minutes to sleep earlier and 10 minutes to wake up earlier. And you give that to God. It will make a difference. Read a book, get some knowledge, work hard, play harder, identify your weakness and attack it, and try something new. Now think about that. That's it for today. I hope you enjoyed this episode of Preacher Man TV. If you didn't do it yet, like, share this. Share it wherever, Facebook, Instagram, wherever. Like, share, and subscribe. If you didn't subscribe yet, I'd appreciate it. God bless you.